This video is brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace is the all-in-one platform to build a professional online presence and run your business like a pro. Toto Wolff has turned a lot to gold. His double life as one of, if not the greatest Formula One leaders in history, overseeing Mercedes' 7 consecutive championship doubles alongside a successful business career is somewhat legendary in the paddock. But despite the fact that the Austrian has been in the spotlight for many years, there are still some things that many fans are unaware of. So join us as we take a look at the top 7 facts about Toto Wolff that you may not have known. Number 1. Humble beginnings in Austria. Wolff was born on the 12th of January 1972 in Vienna to a Polish mother and Romanian father, but unlike many others in the F1 circuit, did not grow up in a wealthy family. He witnessed his beloved father battle brain cancer when he was just 8 years old. Toto's father then tragically passed away when he was a teenager, leaving his doctor mother to raise him and his sister. He revealed, "It was a tough upbringing. My father was very ill when he was young, and he died when I was a young teenager. There wasn't a lot of financial means, and if you grow up in a city where you can see that in front of you, but you haven't got it yourself, it is difficult." When Toto's mother couldn't afford school fees, he was removed from private school. "My mother brought us up, and she was a doctor in Vienna, and there wasn't really any financial background. And she still managed to get us going to a private school in Vienna because she felt that the languages were important. But then we were taken out of class because the school fee wasn't paid. So I needed to go back to class to pick up my bags and have the humiliation of packing your bag because your school fees weren't paid." Number 2. Wolff's motorsport career. Toto Wolff, unlike most racing drivers today, was not particularly interested in motor racing as a child, but when he was invited to watch his friend compete at Germany's Nuremberg circuit at the age of 17, his dream of becoming a racing driver was born. "I wasn't following any racing, but just before I got my driving license, a friend of ours took my group of mates out for a weekend to Amsterdam. Don't ask what we were doing there, but on the way back we stopped at the Nuremberg Ring, where a very dear friend of mine, Philip Peter, was competing in the German Formula 3 Championship. He was a front runner and became an Audi Works driver later on. From the moment I came into the paddock, looking around the cars, being on the grid, I caught the bug. It was the man able or not able to control this machine, and it felt like modern gladiators. This is when I said to myself, I want to become a racing driver." I was 17 at the time. Toto decided to pursue his dream of becoming a racing driver after combining Christmas and birthday gifts to attend the Walter Lechner Racing School at the old A1 Ring. Whether it's websites, online stores, or analytics and marketing tools, Squarespace is the place to achieve it all. With no experience or technical skills needed, you can quickly build your website or online store easily by choosing one of the many award-winning templates and drag-and-drop features to build a professional-looking site in minutes. Once you're up and running, you can use the analytics feature to learn where your site visits and sales are coming from, helping you to understand your customers and audiences. You can also use this feature to build a marketing strategy based on your top keywords or most popular products and content. Want to keep your socials in one place? Squarespace allows you to display posts from your social media profiles straight onto your website. You also automatically push website content to your social media channels so your followers can share your platform too. One of our favorite things Squarespace has to offer is the community features. You can create a community on your Squarespace website, which includes a fully integrated commenting system. You can have your audience like and comment on your posts when they visit your domain. However, racing in single-seaters was prohibitively expensive, so he took a slightly different path. I couldn't afford single-seaters at the beginning, so I was doing something called the Seat Ibiza Cup. I bought myself a Seat Ibiza, which also became my road car, and this is how I grew into it. I worked for Walter Lechner as an instructor in Spielberg for a few years and became one of the front runners in the Austrian and German Formula Ford. I went to New Zealand. It started like a positive little racing career. His next step was to compete in the FIA GT World Championships and other important long-distance racing in Sao Paulo, Silverstone, and Spa-Francorchamps in the early 2000s. Over the course of several years, he won class victories for Porsche, BMW and Ferrari with teammates such as Karl Wendlinger, Dieter Quester and Philip Peter. In 2006, he made history alongside the latter pair and German legend Hans-Joachim Stuck by winning the first ever Dubai 24-hour race while wearing, amusingly, Blue Red Bull overalls. You wouldn't have guessed in 2004 that this young man would go on to become the successful Mercedes team principal and the toughest rival for his long-standing sponsors, Red Bull. Even though he began his motorsport career on the racetrack, he was equally enamoured with rally driving. And, as Toto reasoned at the time, it would provide a lot more fun in a day than an endurance race, which mostly consisted of waiting around. He arrived late to the rally stages, but he learned quickly, and as we all know, Toto didn't do things half-heartedly. He was a member of Raymond Baumschlager's elite rallying outfit BRR and drove their cars, mostly Mitsubishis, from July 2006 to late 2013. The highlight of that period was his second-place finish in the Austrian Championship, behind teammate Baumschlager himself. Toto quickly won the hearts of spectators with his uncompromising driving style, and he had an international mindset from the start, finishing 6th in the NGT category at the FIA GT Championship in 2002. Toto was regarded by the established rally drivers as someone who sought his limits at the extremes and learned from his mistakes. He is certain, "I could have made a living from rally driving." Number 3. Entrepreneurial success. Wolff's entrepreneurial abilities were evident even as a teenager. He started his first business selling candles at an anti-racism protest in Austria in the 1990s. He explained it was a silent protest with the topic of lighting a candle and walking, protesting against racism. I thought, there's going to be a few thousand people, and they're not going to have any lights or candles. But that was just the beginning. While many other drivers were spending their money on sports cars and vacations, Toto decided to start his own investment firm in 1998. Toto, who had some business experience in the banking and finance sector, made some impressive investments that completely changed his financial outlook. Toto's investment firm, March 15, invested heavily in technology, software, and the internet while it was still recovering from the dot-com crash in the early 2000s, making him a multi-millionaire. Number 4. Investment in Williams. Wolff's financial success enabled him to diversify the capital at his investment firm by investing in a variety of different sectors. One of the most notable opportunities presented to Toto was the opportunity to invest in the cash-strapped F1 team, Williams. Toto Wolff's investment firm purchased an equity stake in Frank Williams and Patrick Head's Formula One team in 2009. Williams and Head had been the sole co-owners of Williams since its inception in 1977, and there had long been opposition to selling off a portion of the company. The shift in strategy was prompted by the team's financial constraints. Despite this, Williams remained a legendary competitor in the world of F1, with the investment introducing Toto Wolff to the Formula One spotlight for the first time. Number 5. Marriage with Susie Wolff. Living in Monaco, Toto and Susie Wolff have been married for 11 years now. Susie Wolff has wanted to be a race car driver since she was 8 years old. Formula One was her dream, and in 2014 she got her chance driving for Williams in free practice 1 at the British Grand Prix, becoming the first woman to do so in more than 2 decades. Susie Wolff is now regarded as one of history's most successful female race car drivers. While she competed in DTM from 2006 to 2012, her greatest popularity and success came later as the CEO of Venturi Racing, a Formula E team. Susie began karting when she was 8 years old and was named British Woman Kart Racing Driver of the Year in 1996. She advanced through Formula Renault, Formula 3 and DTM with a development driver role with Williams in F1, serving as the pinnacle of her racing career. Wolff explained the dynamics of the motorsport couple, who have racing in their blood. Susie is the system maintainer of the Wolff family. We're very lucky because we're very similar in terms of characteristics and tasks. The family comes first and then comes the job, but this common field of interest, motorsport, is what we've always done. That's why people talk about it at dinner. The mix of both makes it. Number 6. Short-lived Formula E venture. While his primary investments is in Formula One, Toto has also made investments in a variety of other motorsport competitions, the most recent of which is his Formula E venture with Mercedes. Mercedes debuted on the Formula E grid in 2019, and Nick de Vries quickly won the 2020-21 Drivers' Championship. However, unlike their Formula One efforts, that title did not serve as a springboard for continued FE glory, with Mercedes Mercedes confirming that they will leave the series after 2022. Formula E has been dubbed the future of motorsport, but Mercedes and Toto Wolff believe that Formula One is a better fit for their electric vehicle development. It was certainly a setback for the all-electric series, but Wolff believes there is now an opportunity for Formula E to rebrand itself, perhaps with a greater emphasis on independent manufacturers. Upheavals always offer opportunities for change. At first glance, of course, it was unfortunate that 3 premium manufacturers are pulling out in one fell swoop. But maybe Formula E just needs a kind of reboot to take the next step. Other teams, possibly more private ones, will grow because they will come into the spotlight. Number 7. Academic awards. Although much of Toto Wolff's success can be attributed to hard work and a bit of luck, he has attributed much of his management abilities to his academic background. Cranfield University bestowed an honorary doctorate on him in May 2021 for his contributions to motorsport. He attended the campus to collect his degree from Professor Sir Peter Gregson, Chief Executive and Vice-Chancellor of Cranfield University. On receiving his degree, Wolff said, "I'm very proud to be receiving an honorary degree from Cranfield University. It's a special moment, particularly because of the great work and collaboration between the Mercedes F1 team and Cranfield University over the years, which I know will continue in the future too. I would like to pass my thanks to Cranfield University for the opportunity. I'm now an honorary Doctor of Science, which is not something I ever expected to be, especially after failing to complete my undergraduate studies in Vienna. I feel both privileged and honoured to be recognised by such a prestigious institution." Well, that just about completes our list. What do you think? Is there anything that we've left out? If so, we'd love to hear from you in the comment section below. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel, and don't forget to click the bell button to be notified of future videos. Check out squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, head to squarespace.com/slipstream to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain using the code SLIPSTREAM.